All right, everybody, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Always ready to dive in.
Awesome. So this time, we're tackling a pretty powerful story from the Quran, the story of the elephant.
Yeah, this one's got it all. History, faith, and even a giant elephant. Should be interesting.
I think a lot of people might not even realize that this event took place before the Prophet Muhammad was even born. But it still holds a ton of significance for Muslims today.
Oh, absolutely. This story has some pretty profound spiritual lessons woven into it. It's a story about Abraha, a Christian ruler of Yemen, who decided he wanted to destroy the Kaaba in Mecca.
Whoa, hold on, back up a second. The Kaaba, for those who aren't familiar.
Right, yeah. So the Kaaba is this ancient cubical structure that's considered the most sacred site in Islam. It predates the Prophet Muhammad, and even before Islam, it was a major pilgrimage destination for the Arabs.
Gotcha. So it was kind of a big deal even back then.
Huge deal. It was a cornerstone of their cultural identity. So you can imagine when Abraha shows up with this massive army, including a giant elephant.
An elephant. Seriously.
Seriously, a giant elephant. Apparently, he thought it would make his army look even more intimidating. Anyway, Abraham marches toward Mecca with this whole army, basically ready to make a statement.
So he's not just making a military move, he's making a direct challenge to their whole belief system.
Exactly. And this whole event gets immortalized in the Quran in a chapter called Surah Feel.
Feel meaning elephant.
We got it. It's all about this powerful ruler, Abraha, with his unstoppable army and his giant elephant.
Wait, was this elephant like a war elephant? Like decked out in armor and stuff?
Well, the Quran doesn't go into those kinds of details, but the story makes it clear that Abraha was banking on this elephant to really strike fear into the hearts of the Meccans.
Okay, so we've got Abraham and his army, including this elephant, about to attack the Kaaba. What happens next?
So right as they're about to attack, Allah intervenes. This is where those small birds, the abaabeel, come in.
Yeah, the abaabeel. What was the deal with those birds? I remember reading about them.
The Quran describes these small birds, flocks of them, appearing out of nowhere. They're carrying these small stones, described as being made of baked clay. And then,
They just drop them on the army?
basically, they rain down these stones on Abraha and his army. And the imagery that's used is really striking. It describes the army being left like eaten straw, just utterly decimated.
Wow, what a powerful image. So these tiny birds take down this massive army. Talk about an underdog story.
It really is. It's about as David and Goliath as it gets. And I think that's a big part of why this story has resonated so much with people for centuries.
Right, it's not just about a battle. It's about something much bigger. This idea that even when things seem impossible, faith can prevail.
I think that's a great point. It speaks to the idea that no matter how strong or powerful you might seem, ultimately it's divine will that matters most.
It really makes you think about where we place our own faith, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What do we consider to be truly important?
Definitely. It's easy to get caught up in the things of this world, but the story reminds us that there's a bigger picture at play. It challenges us to think about what's truly worth protecting, what truly matters.
What a powerful takeaway. So to wrap up, what do you think is the lasting impact of this story? What can we learn from it today?
Well, for me, it's a reminder that even when things seem impossible, when we're facing overwhelming challenges, faith can make all the difference. It's about remembering that there's a power greater than ourselves at work in the world.
I think that's a great point to end on. And honestly, it's something I think we all need to hear sometimes. This has been another incredible deep dive. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
My pleasure.
And to all of you listening out there, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep that faith strong. We'll catch you next time for another deep dive.